Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Can you hear me? I think I cannot hear you. I'm the kid who's spitting rhymes true. This is what I used to do when I was back in Chicago. I'm a kid that knows so. But see, I like to go and wear flow hose. That's what I used to wear when I went to the river with my homie Kirk. I never learned how to dance, so all I did was twerk. I'm not a jerk, but if I did, I sometimes can be. I'm a kid who's already looking from A to Z. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is 9 a.m. Good morning to you. I found out who crashed my car. It was my next door neighbor, and we're trying to figure it all out. But anyways, happy Tuesday. Let's jump on into this. So we're going to be doing I think I've kind of hit on something, which now we're doing the shot language series. First, yesterday we worked on scale. Today we're going to work on camera angles. So let's begin with that. Oh, and I switched my my space. Now I've been kicked out to the garage, and it's all good, you know. Let's go here. So I created a new wheel, and this is a wheel full of camera angles to play with. Let's do this. Some things are a little shoddy because my internet is not as good here, but let's see. Give me a second. Somebody's calling me. It's my mother, and I will have to tell her. I will have to talk to her in a little bit, but I hope you all have mothers and fathers, guardians, people you love. Let's do this. Alright, well, I got long lens compressed. Let's try this out. Alright. Let me take my sound. Okay. Oop. Why is it not showing? Give me a sec, you guys. Antique. There we go. So we're doing our series called Shot. So yesterday we went over scale. That was basically the size of a shot. Now we're going to talk about angle. Angle is literally the whether it's a high angle like this, or if it's a low angle like this, or if it's a Dutch angle like this, or if it's what I got right, or if it's a wide angle telephoto lens. Now, lensing and angles, it could be similar. We could use that, and that's what I got. So, are you guys interested in learning about what a long lens angle looks like, or what? Angle, it's the camera's height and width. Kind of making that up right now. And what I got today is long lens. So let's analyze some of this, what a long lens looks like. Give me a second. So something that I use quite often is called shot deck. I don't know, have you guys heard of shot deck? Shot Deck is this awesome site that a lot of people who create pitch decks, they use this because it gives directors a look into how they want their how they want the tone of their film to feel, or the types of shots. So if you look inside of here, this is my account. I'm gonna go and do long lens. So here are some things that do long lens. What do you notice? What do we notice with long lens? For me, I notice that there is something that is in focus, and there are things that are out of focus in the background. And it could be vice versa. What else do we notice? We notice that things are sharp. We notice that things are equal in size, more or less. So let's write those things down. Long lens. Subject is in focus. Background is out of focus. This is also called depth of field. It's called depth of field. Let me see what else. What else was I seeing in here? Background is similar in size as the midground. What else we got? What else we got? Am I missing anything? Let's take a look at Google. Long lens. So basically, a long lens is literally that. It's a lens that is long. And what it does, it kind of magnifies. It brings everything closer to you, kind of like a microscope. And that gives you, I mean, you could be very far away from a subject and it brings it closer. Here's a great example. Like this right here is is like a wider angle lens. This right here is a telephoto long lens. And what it does, see how the trees in the background, it comes closer to you, but it's out of focus. So those are kind of the things that I want to talk about today. Yeah, these are some great examples. Some other ways that you can do is crowd shots. Like this. I love this type of shot. What is this from? This is from Midnight Cowboy, I think. And see how it brings this great effect. So crowds have always been kind of tough for me to do because, man, it takes a long time to draw. It doesn't take like that long, but it still takes. It can be laborious. Let me bring this on down. Let's take a look. Does anybody know about this Bitcoin halving that's going to be happening? Again, this is the unplanned live stream. So everything is off the top. Okie dokie. So let's try this. Long lens. Subject is in focus. So let's say I don't know if this is considered a camera angle, but I mean, like, if you say something like focal length, like that is kind of an angle, like of the glass that you use. I need some music on for me, because all I hear is my washing machine going. There we go. I hope you all could hear me, because I don't know if I'm being heard or not. Test, test, test. Okay. So, what a long lens is doing is this. Essentially, let's say here's a person, and here's your camera. And let's say there are trees. Or let's say, so a wide angle lens does something like this. So what that is you have your subject right here. And let's say, we'll make these people F it. And they'll recede into the background like this. And you might see this person right over here. Maybe you'll feel this person right here. Give me a sec, guys. This is I'm trying to figure this out. How to explain this. So if this is a wide angle lens, then this would be a long lens like this. So you probably wouldn't feel all these people. It would be more narrow. So if it's more narrow like that, like if this right here were the bounds, I mean, you might just, it's again, now let's say the height, let's say we're right here, and if we're right here, you might only feel this much. This is the profile view. So this is probably as much as you would feel with that long lens shot. Yep, thank you. Peace. You might feel some shoulders right here. Maybe you'll feel a head right over here. Another head right here. Oh, you feel another head right here. But maybe it's more like this, because, like, again, I'm using this subject is in focus, so this subject is in focus. The background is out of focus, so, and background is similar in size as the midground. Let's get a closer view of my mug. Hey, what's up, Andrew? Thanks for coming in. I got your email. I will I'll comment on it, or maybe we could do a Zoom or something. I'll send you a Zoom, and we could have like a meeting or something, and we could talk about your work. But it looks great. Hey Andrew, what do you know about long lenses, about telephoto lenses? Please put it into the chat, because I would like to know what other people's interpretation of long lens is. Let's throw another person in there. So, this is our wide angle. And this right here is our long lens. So this subject is in focus. The background is out of focus. Let's go and throw this out of focus. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. And look how cinematic that makes it. Simple, right? Yeah. So that's basically a telephoto lens. That's basically a long lens. If you guys got any questions about that, let me know. I'm gonna move on to oh, and another thing about a long, okay, one more thing about a long lens is, I mean, there's a lot of things about long lenses, but another scenario is, hey Adriana, I'm at work and watching this at the same time. All good. I'll see this again later. No worries, no worries. Adriana, what do you do for work? And Andrew, what do you do for work? And where are you coming from? Are you in California? Are you abroad? What's up? What's up? So let's see. Another really interesting thing about lenses. You know what? I think long lenses and wide angle lenses should have gone in with scale, because you're kind of magnifying things. So I should re-put this into a different, this is camera height and width, not the size in the shot. So I am gonna make this long lens to be in the scale issue or the scale episode, but let me just add one thing before I move on to a different angle. If you put something in the foreground, again, like let's say this is our camera, let's say there's some like something in the foreground, we do the same thing like this. Here's our character, and you could throw something in the foreground, like, or let's say it's like some kind of plant or something. Puebla, Mexico. That's awesome. Adriana, I was just in Mexico. In Mexico City. Man, I love it in Mexico. It is so great. So let's say if you have something in the foreground, oops, oh well. If I have something in the foreground like this, you could obscure it like that. So let me do this instead. Hey Rice, what's up, man? Yeah, wait, so you're coming from, I think, Poland, you were saying a while back. My bad. But yeah, welcome. And Andrew, yes, you told me. I totally forgot. You're in Michigan. My bad, dude. It's funny. I remember things like when I see people face to face, because then I don't know. I just get a better read on people. So let's see. So let's say these are our foreground leaves or something. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. So that's another thing, is in the foreground, things could be out of focus also for a long lens. Oh, interesting. So Adriana, you want to be a story artist one day. That's great. Everyone needs a story artist. I mean, like, even while you do graphic design, like last night I was doing some, you know, I was just kind of playing around with um, how I want to compose my thumbnails, and like all that is graphic design, and it's trying to tell a story. Um, and Rise, interesting. You're a movie translator. That's awesome. I had a friend who did not movie translation, but um, he does what do you call it? It's like for people that are blind, and it tells the story of like, oh, the main character is walking through a doorway. It sounds a little creaky, and boom! All of a sudden, the monster comes out. It's kind of like a translator, but it's for like the visual impaired. Or, I don't know. Very interesting job. Ah, that thing, yeah. So back to the long lenses. Just blurring things out helps a lot, making something cinematic, and also it brings the focus into something. Also, it brings up the production value. It makes it look like you've spent a lot of money on lenses. So that's basically long lenses. Now, when we get to camera moves, I mean, camera moves with a long lens is tough because it's very shaky. I really highly recommend people go out there and, you know, get a DSLR camera and play around with shooting. Get a cheap one. Get a cheap one. Maybe you could even do it on your iPhone. I'm not sure, or any phone. You know, even if you have a Galaxy, probably has even better things. Um, but basically, a long lens compresses your image, and we as storyboard artists, as story artists, we can create meaning, different meanings through them. For example, like let's say I like to use long lenses for voyeuristic shots. Like let's say there's somebody on the ground. Maybe like there's some boxes or something. Maybe let's say we're in an attic actually. Change my pen. Very cool. Adriana, I'd like to see some of those boards that you've done. Also, Andrew, what is your occupation again? I forgot. I'm sorry. Oh, you are a storyboard artist. Oh, nice. Man, well, I feel stupid. Sorry about that, Andrew. Do you do commercials? Do you do features, television? What is it that you do again? Oh, animation maybe? So right now, I'm trying to figure out this voyeuristic shot. Like, let's say there's someone playing, maybe it's a couple friends, maybe it's some people. Dope, Andrew. Um, yeah, Adriana. please upload it to YouTube. And also in one of my previous videos I did, I think it was yesterday's video or 2 days ago, I sent out my my email. Feel free to send any stuff that you want me to take a look at there, and we could have that conversation. And Andrew, would you be down for like a Google Meet or something, and then we could take a look at your boards and figure out a strategy, how to get you some work? Yeah, totally, Rice. Feel free to send work. Here's my email again. Yeah, consider me a resource at this point. So, let's take this. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll set something up. Filter, right. Blur, Gaussian blur. Oops. Here, let's do it like this. And then, of course, I'm making it a little... I made it a little too symmetrical, but you know what? Sometimes some symmetry is a good thing. Sometimes symmetry could be could be eerie. Again, there is no right or wrong. You just got to tell a good story, and that's why I feel as though story always comes first. So maybe these two kids right here are playing like the Ouija board or something. I like doing that because it's weird. It's kind of creepy. And that failed. Let me try this again. I'm gonna make it where there's somebody like lost in the forest like this. Let's say I'm putting a tree right here. Let's say we're in like a forest. Again, let's come back to my long lens. The subject is in focus, background is out of focus. So let's add to that. Foreground is out of focus. So let's say this is my tree right here. Let's see, there's somebody right here. Why don't I make this more like we're peeking out from behind this tree thing? This feels a little more claustrophobic like that. Let's say there's this character like this. And then I'll, instead of doing the Gaussian blur, I'll go and take my blur tool and I will try to blur this out, but man, it's kind of hard to blur. So what I like to do is come here, go into my brushes, and I go to my scattering, and then you can make the scatter higher or lower, and what it'll do is it'll kind of like jitter it up, like, wait, take the transfer off, make the count a little bit bigger. Yeah, there you go. Now it's a nice blur happening. And then do something like that. Again, this is just a thumbnail. This is just to capture your ideas. Let's see, rise. And as to your current drawing, when drawing shots like this for live action, how many liberties do you take when coming up with objects to put in the frame? Oh my God, I totally take liberties because it could inspire the director. And that's what you want to do. That's my take. Your job as a storyboard artist is to inspire the director. They might say, no, don't put that, or be more vague, because that job actually can be for set decoration, or that job can be for the production design. But definitely take liberties unless the director says to not do that. You always got to test the water. You always got to be like, well, let's see how much I could get away with, because for me, I like pushing the boundary. But then again, sometimes people like to just keep it simple, like just draw the guy walking, don't put anything in the background, because we don't know what the location's going to be. So you really got to kind of feel it out, and that's where conversation and relationships come into play. Like how do you create a friendship? You see what each other's boundaries are, and once you find the boundary, either you don't cross it or you push it. You know, be like a child. You know, a child pushes those boundaries to test to see what is what's lack of a better word, what's good and what's bad. Let's see. Like boxes are obvious, but do you ever put more visually fascinating stuff, or do you keep it simple? Right now I'm keeping it simple because I'm just trying to churn out as much as I can for you guys. You know, what I like about storyboarding is that it becomes like improvisation. You can put what you want. Like maybe I'll put, what if I put like what do you call this thing? Like a lamp or something in there. You know, you could throw you can make things interesting. Have fun with it. Refer to your own home. Like, what do you keep in your garage? Maybe this isn't a garage. Maybe, oh no, it looks more like an attic. So what do you have in your attic? You know, do you have air ducts? Do you have so you start associating, and then you start creating imagery. Creepy hobby horse. Yeah, totally. That's totally something cool. So again, if I were to take this, I'm gonna have to go in a few, but let's quickly draw this out. Here's my frame. I like to draw my subject in first. What should I make? I'll make this. Again, right now I'm just doing a rough, just to make sure this works. What's up, D. Lim? Wait a minute, is this Daniel Lim? If this is Daniel Lim, this dude's an awesome storyboard artist, and I should have him on. What up, bro? I should have you on sometime, man. You are an awesome storyboard artist. Love to hear your techniques. Are you still working on Blender? I saw some really great stuff you're doing. I think you were in Tony's class. Which, by the way, I think everybody should take that. Check out Drawing America, Tony Liberatore's class. I've been seeing some great stuff from students coming out of there. Hell yeah. Yep. Focusing on storytelling is it's always a good thing. Excuse me. But Blender's a good tool. At the end of the day, Blender's a great tool. I like SketchUp, but you know, for more complicated things, I'll go off and work with Blender. Does anybody else have any experience with Blender? So I like to, once I carry my person through, I'll either take the lasso tool or the pen tool. The lasso tool, you can just take this, and then I get my paint bucket, and I go like that, and then you could do that, or you could use the pen tool, which you could go like this. And the reason why I like the pen tool is because it creates a silhouette, number one, and also you could double click it and you could change the colors, or you could change the whatever you want. Yeah, for sure, Rise. Tried learning it 5 times now, but never got past the beginner threshold. Yeah, you know, that's okay. I mean, I'm still a beginner with Blender, but you have an intention with what you want to learn in Blender. Like for me, it was how to like make the cameras move around, and then just learn that one thing, and then I was like, okay, now how do I create, like, you know, a little city? And then, or not even a city, how do I create a little alley? Do it that way. And then for me, like with learning new things, just learn what you gotta learn, what you need to figure out. Yep, learning to move around. Just learn what you need, Daniel. Yeah, man, you're like we're like on the same page, bro. That's dope. All right, so let's draw this tree right here. Maybe we'll add some mushrooms on there. I like drawing the bark sometimes. So something that I learned from an artist named Raj Rihal, who fantastic artist. When I was a PA, he was telling me about how things in the foreground are usually darker, and things that recede into the background are usually lighter. So I made this foreground tree darker. Another good thing to do that I like doing is do all your effects after. Like if you're gonna pull focus or something, do it after you do your drawing, because you don't know how you might use it. It might be a rack focus, you know, and then you need your foreground element to be intact, essentially. So here's my frame. I like labeling things just so I know what it is. Here's my tree line art. This is my tone. This is my hero line. Tone. And this is my thumbnail. Keeping organized is something that I learned with a great artist named Christine. Anyways, so let's say, I guess looking at this, the focal point is, or the eye level is kind of like hip, like right where his hip is, like right here. I think that's what I did. Yeah, that's what I think I did. So that's where it's all converging. So whoever's peeking out behind there is probably a child or something, or maybe it's someone that's ducking. We'll throw a tree right here. This is just background, so I like to make this a little bit lighter like that. And then filter. Let's so also I like, right, this is background. This is my hero, this is middle ground. And this guy right here is foreground. That's another thing I learned from Raj Rahal. Think in terms of foreground, middle ground, and background. So then, once I get here, I will first work from the background to the foreground. So let's blur this out. Filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Filter, let's do this again, blur. But before I do that, let's just group all this together, just so I have a copy of it. And let's do the background first. So let's go filter. Since it's further away, I'm going to, actually let me convert it to smart filters. Just because what's great about smart filters, you can throw a Gaussian blur on, you could always adjust it. So let's make it like super blurred out like this. So maybe we're pretty far away. The further you are from the lens, the more blurry it gets. So we'll go right here. And then we got right here. We're gonna make this into a smart filter. Boom. Let's do another Gaussian blur. See how now these are both equal? That means like, for me that's incorrect. Like what I would like is, I'd like to make it a little bit more blurry. Like that. And maybe it's something where, oops. So let's say you can take this, flip horizontal. So let's do it something like this. So maybe you're going like this and you reveal this guy. So it's almost like the camera, you're kind of peeking out. So maybe it's something like this. This shot right here. Here's the frame. Here's this. This is group. This is my foreground. Right here, A, and then B. We come like this, and then C. We do something like this. Group. Boom, like that. As we're looking for this character, this guy. And then again, maybe the scene calls for something where maybe you see the character's head like this, and then they're slowly peeking their head out like that, you know? And then you could rack focus to this character as it looks, and then it goes this way. But that's another episode for another time. It is 10 minutes to 10 o'clock in Los Angeles, so I'm going to call it for now. I want to stick with camera angles because there are, like, I didn't expect me to be on long lenses, but because I want to go over like what a high angle is, what a low angle is, some tricks that I do before I get into camera movement. So thank you all for checking this out. Let's see. The 4 people that I saw on was Andrew, Adriana, Rise, and D. Lim. Thank you guys for checking me out. Tune in tomorrow, 9 a.m. Pacific time. Thank you so much, you guys. Have a good rest of your day, and keep drawing and keep those ambitions high. Take it easy.